Android throws an exception when you try to access the network on the main thread. But what does that mean? Like any modern operating system, Android supports doing multiple things at once. You see that when you hit the recents key to swap to other running apps, or when you do things like play music in the background. But Android's multitasking goes much deeper than that. Each Android app can be divided into multiple threads of execution that can all run concurrently. On modern Android devices, these threads of execution can be scheduled by the OS to run on different CPU cores, but the system might choose to time slice them on a single CPU, which means running each for a period of time. Either way, to your application, it appears as if the threads are running concurrently. To make things easier on the developer, Android apps have a single user interface thread. This thread is responsible for getting events from the various sensors and setting up the next frame to draw. To run at an ideal 60 frames per second, we need to make sure that all the computation between draws takes less than 17 milliseconds, which is pretty fast. In other words, we want to do as little as possible on this main thread. But networking can take seconds, which means your app would be frozen for all that time if the networking call was on the main thread. The user couldn't interact with it. After 5 seconds of ignoring user input, Android would actually prompt the user to close your app. So to use network, we need to run the network task on a secondary execution thread. But we need to make changes to the user interface, like setting the text view to show the result, in the UI thread. Fortunately, Android provides a helpful framework pattern to do this. Enter async task.